Welcome to another episode of Halftime Adjustments. It's Eddie Arnell, G Witt.
Tighten up, baby. Tighten up.
Week 8 recap. The Titans, we hadn't said this all year long, I don't believe. First time this year. We say two wins in a row, back to back, at home at that, right?
At home. And man, I'll be honest, I'm too young for all this mess, man.
Too young for all this. So the Titans win another nail biter, 27-23.
Yeah.
Logan Ryan seals the game with an interception of Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
His fourth turnover today.
Yeah.
And,
Well, it's one of those games where you just say, okay, we got the win. It wasn't pretty. Brian Tannehill came back down to earth. Let's just say there's a lot of work that needs to be done as far as the coaching side is concerned, especially with the OC. And I have to put the question down for the DC as well.
Uh-huh.
You know, there's got to be there's some questionable things going on with that because. Like I said, I give him his props. He's been in the league a long time. He knows more about football than I do and what he's doing than I do. But, dude, there were some things going on I just didn't understand.
Yeah, it was some questionable things that you mentioned, with Pease and also with Arthur Smith as well. And so we're gonna talk about those things, man, because there's
a lot that going on in that game that we have to look at and just say there were some things going on in that game that we really just did not understand. But again, what you like about what you saw was that the team made plays when they had to make plays.
They did.
The old axiom is true again. Every NFL team has at least one drive in them, and we picked the right time to have our one drive.
Yeah, and it was like you said, it was the right time, the need, because the defense had been on the field a lot today.
Way too much.
And we'll talk about that here some more in a moment. But let's get into it because it was a strange game and
it started off that way.
For
us, it started off that way.
That Tampa Bay gets the ball first. And they drive down the field, but it was aided by defensive pass interference on LeSean Sims, 43 yards.
Yeah, and again, for LeSean Sims, this is one of those games where you just say, bless your heart. But, that's all you can say, man, because, that's a lot to ask of anybody to try to cover,
one of the elite receivers in the
elite
NFL,
receivers who's a lot taller than you.
Oh, yeah, he's 6'5".
Yeah, cover him 101. Chances are it was not going to be a catch. Because Jameis Winston really overthrew him. Yeah. But at the same time, man, it was just a bad pass interference. But But kudos to the defense. They had first and goal from inside the 5 and had to settle for 3 points.
They did. It was again, like you mentioned, a good hold by the defense. Yeah. For Tampa Bay to come out and go straight down the field, that was. Probably a little disheartening to the defense after they came off a high from last week.
Yeah.
And for them to stand up and stiffen up inside the red zone, that was
huge.
That was a huge play.
And that's the thing about it, again, stats say a lot of things, but stats don't really tell the whole story.
Right.
The Buccaneers are a lot better than people give them credit for, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
I was impressed by that front seven. It's probably one of the best ones we've played all year long.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were sticking it to us, man. I had to give them their props. Secondary wasn't as bad as everybody made them out to be either. Yeah. So it's just one of them things, man. Where like I said, we came out with the win, so you're happy about that.
Yeah. Why didn't they put Malcolm Butler on Mike Evans? He was some, but I don't know. They don't. Yeah. Titans typically don't swap their corners from side to side. They play one side the whole game.
But you notice in the second half, that's what they did a lot. And the other thing they changed in the second half, which was smart on their part, they quit giving so many free releases. And then, like I said, it took them about midway through the third quarter, but they finally started doubling, Evans, which made Jameis have to go away from him because the safety was coming over the top, so it was making it a little bit more difficult for him to complete the passes.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you do that in the first half? Why wouldn't you have safety over the top on the elite receiver?
What did I say at the beginning? There were some things Dean Pease did that I truly, I'm just going to take it for granted that, he's been in the league. He knows more football than I do. But like I said, there were some questionable things, and then that was one of them. because you saw LaShawn Sims was completely outmatched.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about just on a physical standpoint, mentally as well.
Oh,
he struggled today, and usually he's pretty good, but he struggled today. So that was a little bit different.
So, wanted to see if the offense was going to ramp it up this week after they put up 23 last week.
Yeah.
If they could continue that same mantra this week. Could the defense get pressure on Jameis? We let Phillip Rivers stay in the pocket too long last week. He went to a prevent defense at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And you see where they got us.
Yeah.
And that was another thing. I want to see if teams is going to go back to the prevent if we got a lead today, in which you saw it.
Well, yeah, but you saw it later on in the game.
Yeah, and later in the game, but still, it allowed them to move the ball down the field.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then if we could run on that vaunted number one defense, and they are truly legit number one.
Oh, yeah,
defense.
absolutely. But also you saw where our run offense is not that bad. I mean, we got called for a couple of, one was a questionable holding penalty. But Derrick Henry, except for the fumble, had a pretty strong day. I mean, he rushed for like 72, 75 yards, which is the most they've given up to one player all season long.
Yeah, and like you said, if it wasn't for some self-inflicted wounds, he'd probably have 100 yards rushing,
right?
Which would have been a great day for him. And so, Tampa Bay drives the ball downfield. The Titans come back and have two negative plays, a incomplete pass,
and a sack,
and then a sack by JPP, which looked like to me he was offside.
Man, I watched the replays of that play, and dude, granted it's a bang bang play, but the bottom line is that was straight up offside.
It was definitely offside.
It was offside. I don't care what anybody say.
But anyway, so the Titans have to punt back Tampa Bay up to the 18. They have a false start, and it backs them up even further to the 16 after another play. And then Winston, I don't know if he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready for the snap because he was still checking the coverage.
He was still checking the coverage and everything. So that's definitely miscommunication on the center's part, because I don't know if he heard something or thought it was time, but yeah, he snapped the ball, hit him right in the face mask. There was a fumble we recovered. And
Johnny on the spot, Isaiah Mack recovers the fumble. And,
Mr. Chattanooga himself.
Yeah,
man.
Mr. DeMock, and then Tannehill comes back and hits Jonnu Smith on a 5-yard TD catch.
Yeah,
go up
which
7-3.
Again, we I'm gonna put this out there right now because I keep hearing all these rumors about the Titans are gonna trade this player, the Titans are gonna trade Tajay Sharp and everything. And we talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best core receiving group that the Titans have ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you going to trade somebody?
Why would you?
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Jonnu made a catch that made Ryan Tannehill look good. Because that touchdown pass was behind him.
It was.
And he actually made a good grab and got to take it on in for the 6. So, and that's what receivers have to do sometimes. You got to make your quarterback look good.
Yeah, and it was behind him, but I believe if he'd have put it in front of him, he would have probably got served up because there was a linebacker sitting right there.
I don't disagree with it, but I mean, it was just still a great catch by Jonnu because the ball was behind him.
Yeah. So Tampa Bay goes, and they have 7 plays, have to punt, and then Tennessee's backed up, and then, we just about had a house call by the Beast.
Oh, yeah.
And one more broken tackle.
Man, you called that one.
He was going 98 to the house.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good run and everything. We didn't get anything out of the drive.
No, I had to punt. But
had to punt.
Way to flip the field again.
He flipped the field and everything, and that was really good. And again, like I said, he had those runs. He had those runs sporadically. There was a lot where, and again, a lot of this falls on Arthur Smith, man.
Yeah.
Because there were some plays he was calling run plays, and I'm like, dude, put it like this. They didn't do any play action on first down in the first half at all. And when they did do it, they were successful with it. He had plenty of time to throw the ball and was able to get it downfield because they were running some deep routes.
Right. And so, you talk about a play call, and just for the first half, since you've already brought it up, only 20 plays in the first half of the offense.
Yeah, I'll be the first one to say I was amazed at our defense. That shows you the one. We used to always complain about the condition of the players and everything. That shows you the defense was actually in pretty good condition because they played a lot of plays in that first half. I think we ended the first half with 77 yards total.
It was 71.
Oh, okay.
71 yards.
Even worse.
And Tampa Bay had 215. And so, that just shows you, and they dominated the time of possession because the offense was not moving the ball. Other than, you had some short fields and they converted, which is a good thing. They converted in the red zone, which is always good. But,
exactly.
But no sustainable drives at all.
Exactly. No play action to the third quarter.
Yeah. And so, Tennessee punts again, and then the defense comes up with another big play. Malcolm Butler on the interception.
He was trying to take it to the
6.
house.
Right.
He was trying. I give him his props. Yeah, but Malcolm Butler played good tonight. I mean, today.
He's been playing good all year.
All year,
in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, him and Logan Ryan, really, when you stop and think about it. So it was a good play by him. I mean, still in the replay, you can't tell what James was trying to throw the ball to. I'm taking it for granted he overthrew the guy that he was throwing to, but it was a good catch and run back by Malcolm Butler, got us all the way down to the 5, and then boom.
Yeah, Taylor, they were lucky to get 2 turnovers inside the 10. And even more so, what's more impressive is they converted. This team, a few weeks ago, this team don't convert those. You get field goals, right?
You end up with field goals and everything, but this time you got touchdowns.
And field goals would have got you beat today.
So you think about it like this: we ran 6 plays on offense and we were up 14-3.
14-3. And, Tajay Sharp makes a great footwork, great catch with some good footwork.
Absolutely.
In the back of the corner of the end zone, and Titans go up 14-3. And then Tampa Bay comes back down, kicks a field goal, 14-6. Then they kind of swap punts there a little bit. And then Tannehill gets sacked again. Jamil Douglas makes a good play, recovers a fumble. And Parker kicks a field goal, goes up after a couple more field goals by Tampa Bay, 17-9. And then, so again, the offense gets conservative, gives the ball back to Tampa Bay with 1:09 left in the first half, 2 timeouts. And the defense sits back in a soft zone defense.
Soft zone, and they just picked them apart.
And they picked them apart. Jameis goes down the field, hits highlighted by the Mike Evans 46-yard catch where Byard knocks him out of bounds, and they go up 17-15, 2-point conversion, no good. Which proves to be another big point in the game at the end with that 2-point conversion. So, Mike Evans, he did kill us today, and I don't know what took him so long to make the adjustment by Dean Pease. I don't know what the deal is there. I don't even know why he's not bringing more pressure. Because when he did bring some pressure, he was making Jameis step up. And then Jameis might have the ugliest quarterback scramble in the NFL.
Without a doubt he is.
Him and Phillip Rivers is about time.
But Phillip Rivers ain't running. But Jameis Winston, man, he ended up with 53 yards rushing.
He was the leading rusher.
He was the leading rusher for the Tampa Bay, man. It was crazy. I mean, they just could not contain him. And you also get to see how strong he is too. But again, this is just one of them things, man. It was one of those games where it was just so frustrating while you were there watching it that it was just boggling the mind, man, because you just could not believe some of the play calls that were going on in that game. Was offensively, I understand you want to run the ball and everything, but when they loading 8-9 men in the box, and you already know, let's be honest about it, your offensive Stafford got knocked out the game. He's a concussion protocol.
Right.
You had to bring in Jamil Douglas. You got to start doing something quick. The thing I was upset about Arthur Smith, there was no change up into the offensive flow. I mean, he wasn't going quick passes. He didn't try to go hurry up, a quick offense or anything like that. He just kept going with everything. Now, granted, that may have been part of the game plan. I don't know. But the same thing, man, you got to do something to try to get your offense a rhythm, because the offense was not in the rhythm.
It wasn't, and they were struggling to move the ball. A lot of 3 and outs. I think third down conversions was like 5 or 13 today for the game.
So, it wasn't good like it was last week.
It wasn't good like it was last week. And so, like you said, you've got to do something to get your offense jump started. Why not come out and take some? We talked before the game. We wanted to see if they were going to have some shots down the field today, and they didn't have that many. They had a couple. Which on the one drive they got pass interference twice right when they was going down the field, so that helped.
And even sometimes even with those long passes, even if you don't make it, what you end up doing is giving the defense something to think about. You loosen it up so that your running game can get going. So it's just amazing to watch. Like I said, they know more about football than I do. But the bottom line was there was some questionable play calling going on in that game, man.
There was. And, speaking of Tannehill, and you're right, he is getting a lot of shots. He took one from Vita Veta today. And it was a big shot roughing the passer call. Along with a DPI. And so, but he took some big shots today. And if he would have taken another one like that, they probably been pulling 8 off the bench.
Yeah, and that wouldn't have been good, because that was not the type of game he needed to be in. But Taylor, I would say this, on Tampa Bay running ISO on 4th and 1, I'm not going to call it stupid luck. I'm just going to call it a great play by Kenny Vaccaro and Jarrell Casey. Because bottom line was the hole opened up and Kenny Vaccaro filled it and just stuck it to him, and Jarrell Casey finished him off. It was just a great defensive play. Now, the thing about it is, here's the thing you got to remember. As hard of a day as the defense had, Mike Evans had pretty much a record-setting day. But the bottom line is, when they scored that touchdown in the third quarter, they didn't see the end zone after that.
That's right.
You know, they shut them down. They moved the ball, but they shut them down. They started putting help over the top on Mike Evans. They took him away. So you got to be thankful of what the play was done and how Dean Pease did adjust. But it was just some things going on that shouldn't have been happening.
You're right, and we should be thankful for bad play calling because the second pass interference was really pass interference. Well, he actually did. He did have his hands on the receiver. Yeah. It was, it could have went either way.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about it. The thing that got him, and this is what made him call the pass interference. It wasn't so much he had his hand on the receiver, but what he did was he extended his hand. Mm-hmm. And generally, most referees, most officials, when they see you extend your arm like that, they're going to call interference, whether it's on offense or defense.
So like we said, going into the half, Tampa Bay had 215 yards total, and Tennessee had 71. Only 20 plays in the first half.
Right.
So come out with the first possession, second half, and after a nice little move up the middle, Derrick Henry coughs up the football. So
and he's had fumbles that that didn't count, and then fumbles that went out of bounds. But I know that one right there. I know he want to have that one back because he had a good run up the middle and everything. Good hesitation, good run. And I know he was thinking, I got an opportunity to do some things.
Yeah,
got to secure the ball, baby.
Again, like we mentioned earlier, he had some good runs today, and some self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah,
caused some of those not to count.
Yeah, I mean the biggest one he had, man, got called back, and I'm just gonna call it like it is. I think it was a Fathom holding call.
We looked hard to see that one. It even had on the jumbo screen.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. So, but that's the way it goes. I mean, it like I said, the officiating wasn't great as you would hope. But then again, that's the NFL this year.
That is the NFL this year. So, to Tampa Bay comes back, Mike Evans again, he scores on a 2-yard TD pass, a big reception on that drive, 43 yards, gets him downfield.
Yeah, and
they go up 23-17, right?
And they convert to 2 points.
And so here we are. Like you said, the defense did a good job to hold them to 23.
Hey, man, defense first time this season they've given up more than 20 points. They only gave up more than a field goal extra. And bottom line is they shut them down after that, man. You got to give the players the props for that, man. They actually, there were some plays, some breakdowns and everything, but for the most part, even when they got into plus territory, they ended up pushing them back.
That's right.
Getting in, Harold Landry has a sack, fumble, and recovery.
That's right.
We didn't get to do anything with it, but that was a huge play. And if nothing else, you got the chance to flip the field. Like you said, to get the ball back 4th and 1, they try to go for it. Kenny Vaccaro comes through with a big play.
Yep.
So it's just one of them games where, I know the national media, they're going to talk more about how Tampa Bay lost the game as opposed to how we won. But the bottom line was, after that touchdown in the third quarter by Tampa Bay, the defense pitched a shutout from the rest of the game.
They did. Guys, thank you for joining us for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie Arnett, G. Witt. Thank you for the comments, the
questions.
Tighten
up, baby. Tighten up.
And so, the Titans finally put one of their best drives together and went 10 plays, 68 yards, kicks a field goal, 42 yards by Cody Parkey.
Yeah.
To cut the lead to 23-20.
And then the guy who did have a great game, Jonnu Smith, man.
Jonnu Smith, he had a career day, 6 receptions for 78 yards. One of his best days since he's been in Tennessee.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it looks good for him going forward. He's been playing some good football this year.
And his blocking was better today, too.
His blocking was better today.
Yeah. And so was Derrick Henry's quiet as a kept. People going to miss that, but his blocking was pretty good today, too.
So, good point, Jabbar. He does quietly have 5 sacks through 8 games. And I think with Jeffrey Simmons getting that pressure up the middle of Casey, I think he's probably going to end up
getting more. Man.
He's going to
That's all we're calling that guy. It's a grown man.
They
found out early.
He didn't make a lot of splash plays, but he was in the backfield a lot today.
He was in the backfield.
He drew a holding call.
Yep.
He was going to sack Winston, and so he was effective.
Yeah, drew a holding call. He got called one time for lining up in the neutral zone, but other than that, he actually had a pretty good game. I think today, though, one of the things they made a conscious effort was to limit his number of plays.
Yeah.
Because there was plenty of times where you would think that he would be in there, but he wasn't. He was on the sideline. So I think they made a conscious effort to try. I don't know if there's anything going on with his knee or whatever. Or they're trying to protect it a little bit more, but they did make a conscious effort of not having him in the game. And there were plenty of plays where we needed him in there.
Yeah, it looked like he was on the snap count today.
Yeah.
It did a lot because they pulled him out a lot more today, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And somebody's already mentioned, but the best driver today for Tennessee, which I really think it set the tone for the game, was a 12-play, the 98-yard drive.
Oh, absolutely.
Where they drove all the way down the field, and I had to give Arthur Smith his credit for that drive because he really mixed it up good.
Yep.
They were throwing the ball, they were taking shots,
Run the ball well.
They had play action going.
And the thing about the runs, man, they did it in a smart way because they found out, the weakness of Tampa Bay's run defense is to the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So, the bottom line was he gets to the outside on pitch outs and everything. He's able to get there, able to make some people miss, able to throw some stiff arms in there. So he had a couple of really good runs out of that formation.
Yeah. And so 27-23. And then you got to start questioning Arthur Smith and Vrabel because we get too conservative on the play call. And then you see the fake field goal disaster, right? Where you almost get your MVP of your football team currently right now.
Yeah.
Decapitated.
Yeah.
Because he's slow.
And let's be honest about this too.
Yeah.
We complained about the officiating in the game. We were lucky.
Very lucky.
Because I looked
quick
at the
whistle.
It was a very quick whistle. I mean,
that's a touchdown.
Even announcers was like, they're not going to get to advancing, and I'm like, dude, that was 6.
That was 6.
That was 6, and that was a quick whistle on that play, and they cut him down real quick, and I guess they did it for protection because there were other plays where you kept waiting for them to blow the whistle and they wouldn't do it. I'm like, good grief, it's just. But again, that's typical of the 2019-2020 NFL football season. Officiating has been very inconsistent.
So after officiation, after that, again, the big 4th down stop, the defense rose to the occasion again. Yeah. Tennessee goes 3-and-out again, and then of course Logan Ryan seals the game with the interception there toward the end. And
but
formation,
in that game right there, in that series right there, under 2 minutes, they got them to use all their timeouts. They did a good job keeping them in the middle of the field, holding them down. So you had to spike the ball, you had to throw the ball, and you knew with Jameis having to throw the ball, and the other thing about it too, we doubled up on Evans, so we kind of took him away. So you had Perriman, you had Goodwin, and everything. They had Goodwin covered one-on-one. Perriman, he just, I don't know. I mean,
I think he had one, maybe 2 balls thrown his way, but he just wasn't getting up.
Well, he wasn't going to the ball, man.
Yeah,
I just couldn't believe it. So it's just one of them games where you look at it and you're like, okay, we take the gift because that last interception by Logan Ryan, when I watched the replay, man, if Perriman runs to the ball, it might be contested.
Well, thanks for him.
Thanks for him,
not hustling to get the ball.
Exactly right.
But so for the game, Tampa Bay has 389 yards.
Yeah.
Winston throws 301, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Of course, he turned the ball over 4 times.
Right.
And then he led Tampa Bay in rushing, like you mentioned, at 53 yards. And then Mike Evans has a career day, 11 receptions, 198 yards.
I thought he broke the 2 bills, man. I thought he broke the 2 bills, man. I was waiting for it. I was like, man, this Joker boy, he's got to have 200 yards receiving, but it ended up being 198. But Godwin had 43. Jones had 17. Other than that, Mike Evans was the story. And again, it goes back to why they didn't put a safety over the top of him earlier. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But I'm not going to necessarily, I'm like you, Butchie, I'm not necessarily going to call Vrabel a bad coach. He does make some questionable calls, though.
His decision-making is bad, to me. That's my opinion. Yeah, we've seen it the last few weeks. His decision-making is very questionable, especially in the tight part of the game when it's coming down to the wire.
And I would say that's one thing this year I think he's been struggling with, in his second year, is just in tight situation, the choice that he makes, a lot of times it don't make any sense. I mean, because the bottom line is, if you had somebody who could actually run on a fake punt, you might make that play. But your punter is not that fast.
So maybe they start, as I mentioned earlier, they start putting Mariota holding field goals. I'm just saying, you got to start before you fake it. Then if you want to do that again, you got somebody.
But I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't see that happening because you're talking about a crew. That's a well-oiled machine as far as the long snapper, Kearns, and the kicker. That's something you just can't. That's a chemistry you really can't mess with unless you have to. But the bottom line is, I mean, you just watch them over and over again. It's like, man, these jokers, boy. You give them credit. They found a way to win.
They found a way to win despite Brown, Humphries, Sharp, and Davis combined for 10 receptions, 62 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
The ball was not getting to the guys today like it was last week.
Yeah.
And wanted to see that. Yeah. But Tannehill was holding the ball a little bit too long sometimes.
Tannehill was holding the ball too long, and he was throwing late.
He was throwing late. He wasn't throwing open today.
Yeah.
The one deep ball to Corey Davis across the middle, he kind of threw it right at him instead of leading him some. And even though the touchdown pass that he missed, if he throws that ball earlier, Corey Davis has a better chance of making that catch. But Tampa Bay made a good play on that one. So I mean, but there was plenty of times where we had some good plays. I mean, again, the pass he threw to Tajay Sharp in the corner of the end zone was a great play, great pass, and a great catch and toe tap by Tajay. Yeah, and so since Tannehill's been in, the offense has been getting touchdowns to the field goal. Somebody mentioned that earlier. So it's good to see getting in the red zone and converting those into 7 because, like I said, these last couple of weeks, field goals would have got you beat.
Absolutely. So Taylor, I don't. That probably won't happen. I mean, it's cute, but that probably won't happen.
And this team is not good at being cute.
No.
So we go back to last week
on
the Jet sweep with A.J. Brown.
No.
You can go back to the Cleveland Browns game. So this team is not good at being cute.
No. The bottom line is, this team is made to be a football team. You got to play football on the field. Cuteness and trick plays and all that is really not their forte. They can get away with some, but not a whole lot.
So as we look around the NFL, particularly in the AFC South,
everybody wins.
Adam Vinatieri kicks a 51-yard field goal to beat the Broncos.
With 22 seconds left.
15-13. The Jags, of course, they beat the Jets. Minshew threw 3 touchdown passes, and Sam Darnold threw 3 interceptions.
Yeah, again, he was seeing ghosts again.
And then
the Raiders just blew it.
Yeah,
Raiders blew it. How you gonna have a linebacker trying to cover DeAndre Hopkins in the open field?
In the open field.
Yeah, I don't care if you are playing zone. That just doesn't make any sense.
Deshaun Watson again lighting it up, 3 touchdown passes. Houston's gonna be tough to beat.
And he was making some tough passes too.
He makes some tough passes, and somebody says J.J. Watt is out for you. I hadn't read that yet, but
he's out for the year.
That's what somebody posted.
I noticed he wasn't playing, so God, that and Larry Tunsil went out of that game too. He was hurt. So.
Anyway, as the Titans sit, it's 4-4 tied with the Jags, and Colts 5-2, Texans 5-3. So, just really about a game and a half back, and with the tiebreaker not in the favor of the Titans as of right now. With a lot of football left to go.
Bottom line is we have no tiebreakers. We have nothing, so we have to go out there and win games.
With games left against the Jags and the Colts and 2 against the Texans, so the division is still up for grabs.
Yeah, but we got 2 tough games coming up back to back. We got to go to Carolina. That's going to be a tough game because let's give Carolina their credit. Their defense is tough. Ron Rivera's got that defense playing tough, and then the word is that Patrick Mahomes is going to be back when they come to Nashville and play against us. So, and there will be a ton of Chiefs fans there. I can guarantee you that. So it's going to be interesting.
Steve has his win division. We'll see one game at a time to see. Tajay Sharp, he has emerged since Tannehill has taken over the offense, and I'm just going to say because Tannehill looks over the field, right? He doesn't get locked into one guy, and then once that one guy's not open, he doesn't panic. He looks for somebody else.
He looks for somebody else.
I think that's the difference.
Yeah, that's the difference. And plus, again, once he plants that back foot and going to let the ball go, he lets it go. But one of the things you have to concern yourself with Tannehill is, again, the same thing you saw with Marcus. He holds the ball too long. Sometimes you just got to get rid of the ball.
So we'll go to Carolina to take on the Panthers. The Panthers, they fell today 51-13 to the 49ers, undefeated 49ers, 7-0.
51-13?
51-13.
51?
51-13. McCaffrey had 117 yards rushing, 38 yards receiving. Kyle Allen, 158 yards passing, 3 interceptions. He was sacked 7 times. So if that says anything. San Francisco's got a good defense, though.
Oh, yeah.
They got a good front 7 as well, and a hard-nosed team.
That's why them and the Patriots are only 2 undefeated teams.
And the thing is, they said Cam might be coming back next week. So, so whatever, you can say what you will about Cam Newton. He's a pro quarterback. He's a Pro Bowl quarterback, and he's going to be tough to deal with.
Well, let's just be honest about it. The Panthers are going to be tough to deal with anyway.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those games where we're going to struggle. The only good thing I would say this about Cam. Cam is a good player. Cam's problem is his accuracy is just not as good now. I don't know if that had a lot to do with his shoulder surgery or whatever, but in the beginning of the year, he was missing wide open players. So that's one of the things you got to get some. But, back to us. I mean, we got the win today, but there's a whole lot they got to improve upon if they plan on trying to go deeper into the season to be viable for the playoffs and everything. Because what happened today, especially offensively, that was pretty much a travesty. I mean, Arthur Smith has got to do better with his play calling. I mean, you can't just continue to run, 1st and 10 and running Derrick Henry up the middle. You just can't continue to do that.
No, you saw when he decided to go play action on 1st and 10, it was open. They had success, right?
And, I'm looking at it like your first play from scrimmage should have been play action, because one thing you got to do is loosen up that defense. One of the reasons why Tampa Bay's defense is so good against the run is because you try to run early on them and they shut you down.
Yeah, they shut you down.
The reason why the secondary is not as good statistically wise is because a lot of people end up passing on them because they can't run.
Well, I was going to say they was actually pretty good to me.
Yeah, they look good to me. It's just one of them things. Like I said, but with the Titans though, you see, I mean, I give the offensive line the credit. When Saffold went out, I mean, they were shuffling players. Taylor Lewan goes out a couple of times. Ben Jones goes out. So basically, Ben Jones goes out. Douglas has to switch to center. Mm-hmm. Conklin has to switch to guard, and they got to put Kelly in at the right tackle. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to think about that, man. That's kind of crazy.
It was crazy, but it works. It's good coaching on their part, and getting those guys ready to play those positions.
For what they had to go through today, you had to admire them for that. You had to admire, because our offensive line, they actually played fairly decent today. Mm-hmm.
So again, we're going to the Panthers, and they averaged 27.7 points a game, 129 yards rushing. Somebody asked earlier, will McCaffrey get 100 yards? How much will he go for? He had 117 against the 49ers today, so it's a possibility he could. He could get 100 next week. It just depends. If Cam Newton comes back, that run game is going to be very difficult to stop, because he can run the ball as well. He runs the ball a lot. They don't want him running. But Luke Kuechly and that defense is going to come. They're 12th overall, 8th against the pass. 8th against the pass and 23rd against the rush, giving up 22 points a game. Yeah. And so it's going to be a tough game. It's up there.
And it's going to be a hard-nosed defensive game, too.
Yeah.
Let's be honest about it. The defense struggled today, but also they played pretty good. We just got to – I keep saying it, but I don't need to say it because, again, he knows more about football than I do. But I really am struggling understanding what Dean Pease is doing. I'm just, these last two games, I'm looking at him. I'm like, well, first of all, his trend of what he did last year is continuing. I still don't understand why in passing situations, especially on like 3rd and long, I know you put your dime package in and everything, but generally you only have one defensive end. You put Cameron Wake in, who's a former defensive end. You got him really playing outside linebacker and everything. You're rushing one defensive tackle and basically, for lack of a better term, because of position 3 linebackers.
That's right.
And that's why on those long 3rd longs, you're not getting any pressure. I'm still struggling to understand why, you got big dogs who can get a push. If you put Casey in there, you put Simmons in there, you put Daquan Jones in there, you run your dime package or whatever. To me, you get that push up the middle that you need in order to get the quarterback off his base.
And not only that, you can defend the run when they decide to run the draw.
When they decide to run the draw and everything. Because the defensive line was doing their job as far as slowing down the run. They had a couple of good runs and everything. But when you figure out your quarterback, because he broke containment, is your leading rusher, that means you did a good job against the run. The ugliest running quarterback I've seen in a long time.
So what do we do defensively to win next week? So if Cam plays, even if he doesn't play, we've got to get pressure on the quarterback. They gave up 7 sacks today, and the Titans can get after the quarterback. They've proven that when they rush the pass and bring extra folks, right? Even with the push up the middle with Casey
and that's the problem.
Simmons.
That's the problem I know Dean Pease has, because he can't get any pressure out of his front at all. He has to manufacture pressure, and that's the problem he had, because you're manufacturing pressure, and you got to remember that your best blitzers are basically Kenny Vaccaro and Logan Ryan. So you're leaving somebody open. You know, and if they don't get there, you know, it's some wide open people out on the field and everything.
I'm just surprised he's not running more games with his linebackers, like double A gaps, you know, those Mike cross blitzes. I just don't understand why he's not doing that. When you got speed in Jam Brown, you got Evans, and you know, and you got Harold Landry on the edge. So
and when you think about it, they're not running any stunts.
No,
you know, they're not flipping it over. You know, Casey go one way, whoever's on the other side of them goes around them because they all end up being on the same side, which I just don't understand how that works.
I'm having a lot today.
You know, and I'm like, and again, I'll say it again, he knows more about football than I do, but those are those things I got to question, man.
So, and we got to limit Christian McCaffrey. We can't let him have a big day to where he's got 100 yards rushing, 100 yards receiving. Because he can do that.
He can get that quick.
If he's not the best dual threat running back in the league, he's one of the top 5 with him and Kamara. You know?
Because, and again, you know, one of the problems the defense has had over the past couple of weeks is not really covering the running back out of the backfield.
That's right.
And with Christian McCaffrey, they can't let that happen.
And you thought we had a stout front this week, man. The front next week, you got Jerry McCoy, Dontari Poe, and Mario Addison, Shaq Thompson, and Kuechly, Bruce Irvin. So it's gonna be another tough battle. It's gonna be a dogfight, as somebody mentioned, Rodney. There, it's gonna be a dogfight. We're gonna have to be able to run the football. The beast is gonna have to be able to run the football. Well, and we're going to have to open it up, though, by throwing deep and throwing on play action on first down.
Well, you got to go play action on first down. You got to lose because everybody knows the Titans. Okay, one thing we want to do is run the football. That's what everybody knows about us. We want to run the football.
Yeah.
The bottom line is the best way to loosen that defense up is on the first play, go play action.
Yep.
You know, fake it, and you got to do play action under the center. Go back and you got to start having these quick passes to get people open because that's one of the things you run into. And like I said, you know, I know they're trying and everything, but you're looking for Arthur Smith. He's got to do better on his play calling, and they got to do better switching some things up because the bottom line is you cannot continue to run this slow, methodical offense every week in and week out. You're going to have to pick up the pace just to keep the defense honest and keep them moving and keep them thinking because it got to the point to where we were playing in today's game. Tampa Bay was having 8-9 men in the box because they knew we were going to run.
And Tampa Bay dictated the pace of the game
absolutely.
For the entire first half.
For the entire first half and part of the second half.
You know, even though the Titans were up 17-15, it didn't feel like they were winning the football game.
You figure like when you understand that they get 14 points in the first quarter off of 2 turnovers.
Yeah.
And then you end up with 3 because you got lucky on another play. Mm. It's just one of them things, man, when you're just watching them, it's like, you know, they looked anemic today, in all honesty. But again, another overall team game. Defense played well enough. Offense played well enough. Special teams played well enough. The field goal kicker made all his field goals, which was very important.
Doink made his field goals today.
Doink made his field goal, so you're happy about that. Made his field goal and made his extra points.
Speaking of field goals, Mr. Suckup should be returning this week.
Well, is it this week?
Yeah, week 9.
Okay, all right. So we'll see how that goes and everything.
We'll see how that goes.
But you know, it's just one of them things, man. You know, hey, look, 2 wins in a row.
Unusual.
First time this season.
First time this season, and as we finish up the second quarter of the schedule, another 2-2 finish.
Yeah.
Which brings this team to 4-4.
4-4.
And so we'll see.
Hey,
can they string together 3 wins?
Let's remember this. Now it becomes football season because November and December, it's all about playing good football.
Yeah, well, I agree. LeBeau, he would work some miracles because he would run some more exotic type blitzes. Than what Pease is running.
Yeah,
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, Pease is being conservative in his play calling.
He is. And I just don't understand why.
And I don't understand why either. But you know, there's something about it that's just not making sense to me. I don't know if he doesn't think the players are ready for what he wants to do or what. But anyway,
I know they better wrap up on Cam if he play next week.
Yeah, you got to get him down because they had a hard time getting Jameis down today.
Right. So, guys, again, thank you for joining us for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie Arnell, G. Witt.
Tighten up, baby.
Titans
pull out
another
squeaker.
27-23 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to even their record at 4-4.
Hey, look, we blew the NFL Network's prediction out the water now.
Right. a game and a half out of first place in the AFC South, 1 week at a time. Can this team put together 3 weeks in a row with a victory, or is it back down
to reality?
And back down on the low end of the spectrum.
We'll see. Well, we'll see, because the bottom line is they really can't afford another loss. They really can't.
Not at all.
You got to go out here and win these games, and then it's just not going to be easy because you dug yourself into a hole. You lost some winnable games so far in this first half of the season, so you got to come back in the second half playing better. I'm going to be interested to hear about the injury report tomorrow to see who's all okay. I mean, we already know Sappho's in concussion protocol, but you don't know about Taylor Lewan, you don't know about Jarrell Casey. You know, you just don't know about some of these players right now, where they stand.
This was a physical game today.
Oh, yeah. Very physical.
It was very physical, especially on the line of scrimmage on both sides, both teams, both sides of the ball. And so, like you said, the injury report this week's probably going to have a lot of names on it.
Yeah, but we'll see.
A lot of ice baths out of the game today.
But you'll see who comes back, too.
Yeah.
You know, you never know about Delaney. You don't know what's going on with Darius Jennings because that was unusual today. But Khalif Raymond did a pretty good job.
He did a good job. He had a good return, his long 45-yard return today, which was his longest one. And so, you know, we'll see. So the Titans travel to Carolina to take on the Panthers, 12 p.m. kickoff. And we'll be back here next Sunday to talk about, is it another win for the Two-Tone Blue? Or is it back down to reality?
Need to check the time on next Sunday.
Yeah, we'll put something out. It might have to change the time due to some scheduling conflicts, but we'll put that out, and you guys join us if you can. If you like the show, share it. You know, get on our YouTube channel, H/T Adjustments. We got the episodes on there. We're trying to go live there, so help us out there and get us out there. Share us with your friends if you like the show, and thank you for the support as always. The questions, the comments. And the guy that keeps missing the flag, don't worry about the flag, man. The flag don't mean anything regarding the show. I can take the flag down and we're going to still do the show.
Yeah, so man. It's going to happen, man. You know, the show happens, man.
So, again, thank you. Thank you, Dion, for your comments, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the support, guys. And join us again next Sunday for another live episode. We'll put the time out later this week. Halftime Adjustments. Eddie Arnell, G-Wit. Peace.